Hello and welcome to another edition of Stockwatch. So as we start the trading week, we hear that the airline industry is receiving a boost after boost in the news that they're expected to have travel restrictions lifted by the end of Q2, which for most people is the start of their summer vacations. And this is obviously going to be in line with tourist expectations around the world. So I've been looking at Lufthansa in particular as the demand for tickets in and around the Easter period, which is coming up. And also, as I said, the summer period has increased to the extent that the German airline has almost doubled the number of scheduled flights during this particular period and is planning more than 1,200 flights to European destinations, which is actually a 50% increase on this time last year. So you can see that a lot of countries are hoping to come out of the pandemic storm, but we'll have to wait and see, if they're running before they can walk. Obviously, they're hoping to get bookings and, holidays in check, but hopefully no more refunds as, maybe a third wave of the coronavirus hits the globe. This is also the same with Air France as well, although it's been reported that many domestic flights will be replaced by trains. In addition to that, the company is looking for a safe and swift way to get passengers on board with QR codes on their smartphones to not only relay their actual personal data to, board the plane in a quicker and safer manner, but also this gives them the information that they are not infected with the COVID-19 virus. So, not only for pandemic concerns, but looking to get the onboarding process a bit more faster as well. But Lufthansa are looking to the future as well. They are looking to restructure because of the pandemic hit. So currently they have 763 aircraft and they're going to reduce that to roughly about 650 aircraft by 2023. So in 2 years time, they're looking at a lot of cost effective measures and restructuring due to the pandemic. And in addition to fleet reduction, the company plans to cut additional 10,000 jobs to compensate equivalent wage costs in Germany as well. So, at one side it is positive news for airlines, but on the other side there's got to be a big restructuring if a lot of these companies are going to survive into the next couple of years. Obviously, the tourist industry in 2020 was very detrimental. In 2021, we'll just have to wait and see what the figures are like with the virus infections to see if it is safe to start traveling again. So the last time I looked at Air France, we had this detrimental downturn after the first wave, and this was going into the second wave. Obviously, positive news with the Pfizer vaccination when it was licensed and released, and now we're just looking to see what I'll be looking at in particular. I'll just zoom in. I wanted to see if it could actually beat this particular peak that we had previously. It's fallen below that, so now I'm just naturally looking at the top border of the Ichimoku cloud. It's a very good support and test there, so that's just below the 5 mark. And if it does pierce this, then I'll be looking probably at further downside towards the previous low of the lower border of the Ichimoku cloud. So, as I said, if we look at the previous levels that we had, the lowest low we had during the pandemic was just, about 2.5. It is easy to get, but if we do probably pierce this line here, then I'll be looking at further lows and, further wayward prices as well. So very good sell positions there for myself. I'll be looking to see if I can get any lower. Obviously, we've got this bearish divergence as well. That's a long-term divergence. So, this could weigh heavy on prices as well as we go into the next couple of months. I'll be looking at this long-term because obviously the headlines are what's making the airline industry stocks, fluctuate so much. So I'll just be looking to see if that's going to have a bit of an effect as we go into the summer months at least. And just looking on Lufthansa as well. So the last time I looked at this, again, I didn't really see many divergences on the RSI or momentums, but what I was looking at, if I just pull it back, is the last peak that we had when we had the big surge in stocks after the first wave. And I'll just zoom in again. I was just looking if we can stay above this. Since we could not, then I'm looking at further downside like I've signaled here before. So the first choice for me would be just over the 10.5 range, and then, as I said, a little bit like Air France as well. We'll just see if that's going to start pushing lower to previous lows that we saw over the pandemic period. So just something to look out for. I am looking at the downside for airline industries because I don't think they're going to recover as well as they probably hoped in the summer. Obviously, if flights do resume, then this will give a slight boost. But if we don't see the same numbers that we did in 2019, then this could be very detrimental for prices and we could see a lot of selling pressure on these stocks. So just something to keep an eye out for in the next few months. As I said, I'm looking at this long term, medium to long term, as we go into Q2 and then into Q3. So that's all from the Stock Watch today. Thank you very much for joining me. If you have any comments or queries, please feel free to add to the post and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Have a great trading day ahead and bye for now.